Yo, what's happening, people? Back again for another stream. Don't forget to smash the like button and don't forget to subscribe to my channel at Gav Goes In. So, Man United's end of season player ratings. Obviously, there should be some players in here that for some people might have a bit of a problem with the scores. I'm going to rate the scores out of 10. If you got any comments, guys, any views, put it in the live chat. I say I'm going to be fair and I'm going to run through my player ratings. I'm not going to include the players that have been on loan or that have not been playing regularly. Purely the players that have played throughout the whole season, more or less. And I'm going to give my ratings from 1 to 10. So starting off with Andre Onana in goal. For me, had a shaky start. I think during the season, he kind of rectified a lot of the mistakes that he was making early on. I think as a first season, I'd probably have to say I would give him a 6 out of 10, which is average. I think, as I say, the reason I'm giving him a 6 out of 10 is because purely the first half of the season wasn't good enough. At the ball at his feet, there's no issue there, even though I do feel sometimes his kicking can be a bit better. But in terms of his shot stopping, it's been very, it's been a mixed bag, let's be honest. So yeah, I think Onana deserves a 6 for his season. Been some games where he's kept Man United in it, and I think 6 is probably a fair one. Altay Bayinde, I think Bayinde's probably played one game, so I don't think it's fair to judge him. Remains to be seen what he's going to do next season. And the same with Tom Heaton. Tom Heaton never played, so yeah, we can move on to defence. Victor Lindelof didn't really play towards the end of the season. For me, Victor Lindelof, I'll give a 5. I think one of the players that needs to be moved on for me. I think he's been at the club now for a few years, and I think that it's time for him to move on. Whether he moves on or not remains to be seen. Obviously, he's not on a really high wage, and he can be used as a squad option. But for me, no longer can he be a first choice starter. So yeah, I'm giving him a 5. Harry Maguire. I'm going to give Harry Maguire a 6. I think Harry Maguire has had a decent season. Obviously, one of the players, just like Lindelof, that needs to be moved on. But I think when he has played, he's done what he had to do. Obviously, with Harry Maguire, he's one of them defenders that's a box defender. If there's any space in behind, he's going to struggle. But in terms of what he's had to cope with, in terms of the media attention, and obviously a majority of fans that don't want to see him obviously in the lineup, including myself, I think he's done okay. But again, he needs to be moved on as he's not good enough. But I think for his season, he can have a 6, which is fair. Lisandro Martinez. I'm going to give Lisandro... it's hard to mark Lisandro because he hasn't been fit. And that's something he needs to improve on in his fitness. Obviously, a game against Man City, he played very well in the FA Cup. I'm going to give Martinez a 5. And that's because I said he's hardly played. And I don't think anyone that's hardly played should be getting over a 5 or getting a rating. So I'll just give him a 5. But hopefully next season, Lisandro can stay fit and provide that balance and that aggression and that winning mentality to the Man United backline. Tyrell Malacia has been out for the whole season, so there's no point doing Malacia. Same again, just like Martinez needs to prove his fitness. Otherwise, he can be moved on. Rafael Varane. For me, I'm going to give Varane a 7. My highest rating I'm going to give for Man United is an 8. And personally, for me, even I think that might be slightly higher, but there's a couple of players there that do deserve that rating. But for me, Varane 7, as mentioned before, sad to see Varane go. You know, multiple times Champions League winner, Man United's best centre back. You know, Man United's most experienced centre back, obviously apart from probably Johnny Evans. Yeah, not much to say about Varane really. Just sad to see him go, top player, and I believe any club that gets him next is going to reap his experience, his leadership, you know, his reading of the game. And if he does go to another team in the Premiership, it wouldn't surprise me if it is a Chelsea, you know. If I'm a Tottenham, I'll try and go for him, you know. Even at Aston Villa, you know, one of them teams, wouldn't surprise me if they go for him. It would be a great addition to them. So yeah, I'm giving him a 7. Diogo Dalot. So for me, my highest rating, Dalot, I'm giving him an 8. I think Dalot's been very good throughout the season. Has cemented himself as Man United's right back for next season, in my opinion. I know there's talks obviously with Jeremy Frimpong, who I do think is a good player, and I would bring in to give competition. But for me, Dalot's been United's best player this season, very consistent, and yeah, obviously chipped in with a few goals as well. Yeah, and I think he's been very reliable. And I think with Dalot, you can tell Dalot's grown into the team as a leader as well. So yeah, very good season from Dalot. So I'll give him an 8. Luke Shaw, very similar to Martinez, hasn't played as much. And when he has played, he's been okay. But again, I'm going to give Luke Shaw a 5. Obviously, needs to improve his fit. I mean, personally, I think Luke Shaw's been there long enough. He needs to be moved on, as he can't seem to stay fit. And I think if we're going to use this excuse for other players, then it has to be leveled out the same. The only thing with Luke Shaw, I think he still has 3 years left on his contract, so it will be hard to move on. But again, needs to prove his fitness for next season. Me personally, I'd buy another left back and have him, Malacia, and obviously Shaw, who's injury prone, battle it out really. Aaron Wan-Bissaka. For me, Wan-Bissaka, I'll give him a 5. Don't think Wan-Bissaka has been too good this season. You know, positionally, he's ain't the greatest. 1v1 defending, as we know, you know, he's very dominant there. Never really gets beat on 1v1. But for me, it's his ball playing skills as a right back. Man United, the modern day right back that is comfortable in possession. And I think Wan-Bissaka does need to be moved on. But I'm going to give him a 5 for the season. Johnny Evans, you know, was brought in as what, 5th choice centre back. Whenever he's come in, he's done very, very well. Obviously, only come there for the season. Contract's running out. As a 5th choice centre back, he's brought a lot of quality to the team. You know, in terms of his passing, his reading of the game, his experience. I'd give Johnny Evans a 7, strong 7. I think he's been very good this season, and obviously he's winding down his career now. But yeah, a good addition to the squad when obviously a lot of defenders were out. So yeah, I think that he can be happy with his season, and whatever next season entails for him, you know, he's done his job really. So yeah, he can be happy with that. Willie Campbell, obviously he came in when obviously all the defenders were injured. I think when Campbell come in, he looked good. I think his blip came against Bournemouth when Dominic Solanke turned him for the goal. But apart from that, I think he's actually played very well. And again, he can be happy with his contribution. I'm going to give him a 6. Not much was expected of him, but when he has come in, he's done very well. So yeah, I'll give him a 6. Moving on to Sofian Amrabat. Obviously, Amrabat come in this season, was playing at left back, which again, the manager, don't know why he's playing him at left back. It doesn't make no sense. But when Amrabat has played in midfield as a defensive midfielder, you can see what he brings to the team in terms of his physicality, his defensive nous, and his aggression. So I think when he has played there, he's actually played well. As a whole for his season, I'm going to just give him a 6, I think, as well. I don't want Man United to make his signing permanent. I think if Man United could get him for like 10 million as a squad player, then yeah, I understand that. But I think if it's anything above 10 million, then yeah, I will stay well clear of it. But I think towards the end of the season, he's played well. So I think 6 is probably an average for him. Yeah, Mason Mount, non-existent. Again, has hardly played. Again, I would give him a 5, maybe a 4, because when he has played, he hasn't really done anything anyway. But yeah, another player. Obviously, he's going to be here next season, just signed. Main thing that needs to happen with Mason Mount is that number 7 needs to come straight off his back. Yeah, like why the club signed him in the first place, I'll never know. 55 million leading to 60 million is a disgrace. And yeah, for me, he needs to be moved on. Big up Azza 34. He says you're sick. Appreciate that, Azza. Yeah, make sure you subscribe to my channel. Keep smashing that like button. And give your comments if you have any views on the player ratings I'm giving. Bruno Fernandes, for me, not one of Bruno's biggest fans. I know he divides the fan base, but for me, player that needs to be moved on in the summer. His season, despite what many may think, for me, I'm going to give him a 5. Bruno Fernandes. I think too many times, he's out of position. Too many times he tries to play the long ball, play the hard ball. I think Bruno looks better when he keeps it simple. But yeah, I think Man United need to go in a different direction, and it doesn't include Bruno Fernandes in my opinion. Obviously, his assist in the cup final was very good, which he can be happy with. But in terms of his overall game for the season, yeah, I don't think he's up to the level required of a Man United captain as well. And I think when you're the captain, you should be looking at producing better performances. And I think him as a player, he's a very hard watch, So for me, I'll definitely move him on in the summer. So I'm going to give him a 5. Yeah, as a big up, as a 34. Christian Eriksen, another player that's been criminally underused by this manager this season. Eriksen's a number 10. Why Eriksen has been playing consistently as a number 8, as a deep line playmaker. He hasn't got the legs to deal with the physicality of the Premier League. So you need to play him in a position where he can get on the ball and dictate, which is a number 10. But I think with Eriksen, yeah, I think it's time to move him on. He's a very good player, but I think the way Man United want to play now and the way they want to go with a new manager, I don't think he can fit into that system. And I think there'll probably be better players suited to, hopefully, if a De Zerbi comes in, to the way he wants to play, really. So for me, I'll give Eriksen a 5. When he has played, his contribution has been very minimal, in my opinion, as well. But yeah, it's a shame that he didn't play in the position that I think he should be playing in. Amad Diallo, for me, the future of Man United's attack, for sure, along with Jadon Sancho, when he does hopefully come back. And obviously, if Michael Olise comes in and Eze as well, I think having that quartet of them 4, Eze, Sancho, Amad, Olise, and hopefully what you see you can do with Mason Greenwood, that will be attack to be fed. And then you get an Ivan Toney as well, because Martial obviously is not going to stay. that'll be an attack to be feared. But yeah, I think Ahmad, with the limited game time that he has had, I'm going to give Ahmad a 7. Ahmad's quality is there for all to see. You know, on the ball, very composed. You know, his temperament is very good for me. You know, his choice of pass. I think his decision making is top level as well. You know, and next season, I want to see the new manager, hopefully is the Zerbi, show faith in Ahmad and let him know that he's going to be used as a key player. I mean, the fact that he never got a minute in the FA Cup final is alone why I want this manager sacked, because it was Ahmad's goal that got Man United past Liverpool into the final, and then his reward for that is not even getting on the pitch, you know. But I'm tired of talking about this manager. Ineos have made a decision like I said a few weeks ago, and we can kind of look forward now to a new regime under a new manager. And the likes of Amad Diallo needs to be playing for me. Casemiro. Again, Casemiro's been getting a lot of criticism this season. For me, Casemiro needs to stay for his experience. You know, what done it for me with Casemiro is that I believe the manager lost Casemiro when he decided to not make him the captain for the season. Also, he's been captain under Scott McTominay, which is a massive disrespect. You know, being captain under Bruno is a problem, but McTominay just takes the piss. And Casemiro, just like Varane, multiple-time Champions League winner, and he's someone that for sure I'll definitely be keeping as part of the squad. You know, playing him at centre-back for me doesn't make any sense. You know, there's other players that could play there. But you're one experienced player that is a winner. You keep him in his position rather than playing him at centre-back where he's going to get exposed because it's not his position. But yeah, for sure, I'll definitely keep him. I think he's got a couple of years left on his contract, but obviously there's talk with Saudi trying to move him on. But yeah, I think he's someone that needs to definitely be retained, in my opinion. And I believe he should be made the captain for next season if he is retained under Ineos, for sure. That will show him, and that will show the fans that this team means business now, finally, you know. Kobbie Mainoo, newcomer to the team. Raved about Kobbie all season when he came in. You know, for me, I'm going to give Kobbie, for his debut season, I'm going to give him an 8. In actual fact, I'm going to give him a 7 because I believe he's got a lot more to come. I think there's a lot more that he can show. But I think giving him a generous 7 shows how much I really rate this player and shows how much I think he can go to the next level as well. He just needs to be playing in a team that wants to play possession-based, you know, and he's got players around him that can be on the same wavelength as him as well. But yeah, next season, he's going to have a huge role in that team. And yeah, I think we can look forward to seeing Kobbie Mainoo, dazzle us at the Theatre of Dreams. But yeah, great breakthrough season. And for me, as I said, I've mentioned before, players that have come through the youth, the likes of players that I rate, Ravel Morrison, Mason Greenwood, Paul Pogba, Giuseppe Rossi that come through, obviously the reserves and that in the youth. Who else was there? Angel Gomez. Kobbie Mainoo for me is one of them. You know, he's for me. He's going to be he's an elite talent for me already, and I think there's a few things he's got to work obviously on his game, but I think for sure he's gonna be a top player. There's no reason why he shouldn't be a top player. It's up to the club to help him. Scott McTominay. I mean, yeah, McTominay can be happy with the goals he's got. But for me, his job isn't to score goals. His job is to contribute to the midfield. And for me, his performances this season as a midfielder have been poor. I'm going to give him I'm marking him purely on his footballing ability as a midfielder, and I'm going to give him a 5. You know, as I say, his goals should be a bonus, and I don't think his game should be looked at as oh, he's getting goals. I think he's a midfielder. He should be doing midfield things, and his ball possession, you know, his creativity is non-existent. So for me, I'm giving him a 5 purely on that. Another player that needs to be moved on in the summer. But it's down to Ineos to see what they want to do. Moving on to the forwards. Obviously, Anthony Martial's hardly played, so there's no point giving him a rating. I think when he has played, just like Martinez, I'm going to give him a 5. When he has played, you know, you can see his quality. Obviously, he's announced that he's leaving at the end of the season. Criminally underused by the manager in favour of Højlund, which makes no sense. But I think as a season that he's hardly played in, there's no point giving him a rating but a 5, really. Just like Lissandro and the Luke Shaw that haven't played, really. Marcus Rashford, obviously given the brand new contract, you know, obviously last season, you know, he got the numbers, even though his performances weren't great. And this season, you just seen that don't focus on the numbers, focus on performances. And his performances this season have been poor. I think Rashford checked out long time when I believe he checked out when Sancho was moved on to Dortmund. You know, I think the fact that Rashford's been getting criticism for me is like, it don't really bother me now, because people should have clocked onto this before, because Rashford hasn't been good. He's just been getting numbers, and people look at numbers more than performances, which is a big thing in football now. So for me, Rashford's season, I'll mark him down as a 5. Has nowhere been there good enough. For me, I'd move him on, but again, it's going to be difficult to move him on because of the wage and who's going to be willing to pay the fee as well. So he's more than likely going to stay. For me, yeah, it's going to be a big season for Rashford next season. I believe next season, if he continues to be the same, this is going to be the downfall of Rashford, and you're going to see Rashford's decline, really. You know, I think Man United at the moment is keeping him afloat in terms of his performances and his standing in the game. But for me, next season, especially if Sancho comes when Sancho comes back, for me, I wouldn't start Rashford on that left-hand side. Sancho for me will be number one, has to be number 1. But as an impact sub, you know, or as a rotation, Rashford could prove useful in a different system. But his season for me has been poor, so I'm going to give him a 5. Rasmus Højlund, debut season, Højlund. In terms of his output, what did he get? Did he get 15? I think he got 15 or 16 goals in all comps. Decent return. Decent return, I would say, for the amount of games he's played as well. For me, nowhere near good enough. His hold at play isn't good enough. His game understanding is very poor as well. You know, too many times he wants to play up against a defender. You know, I don't think he's clever with his movement. I think he went 15 games without scoring a goal as well. Obviously, then he went, I think it might have been 7-7, and then he went for another drought again. And then his last 2 league games, he got a goal in each game. For me, another striker 100% needs to be brought in. And even if you do keep Erasmus, he needs to be used as a bench option, like I've said. In the long term, I don't think he'll be good enough, because I don't think he possesses the qualities to be a Man United striker. His temperament as well, and his like, what I don't like about Rasmus is that he believes his own hype with a lot of these fans that are rating him. You know, I think he needs to just be a bit more humble and just work on his game. And for me, he needs to show a mentality that by him just scoring a goal that he hasn't scored in the last like 5 or 6 games, not to start over celebrating, you know, because that isn't the standard at Man United. And I believe that he, for me, being ruthless, I would loan him out or move him on, which probably be hard to do. But for sure, another striker does need to, a top striker needs to come in and be the number 1 striker, and then him be the backup if that's what's going to happen. So for me, I'll give him a 5 for his first season. And that's purely because his overall performance hasn't been good enough. Garnacho, a player that, for one, I don't like his attitude. I think his attitude stinks. He's someone that believes his own hype, you know, isn't the player that a lot of these fans think he's going to be or what he is, you know. Obviously, his goal against Everton was a moment of brilliance. It's a goal that that he's very rarely going to score again, but it was a moment of brilliance. But his overall form for the season has been poor. Too many times he runs down dead alleys, you know, tries to hit the ball for a defender for a corner. You know, his game understanding as well is poor. Doesn't know when to pick the right pass or to shoot. Very greedy at times as well. Don't care that he's 19. Shouldn't be an excuse. Kobbie Mainoo's younger than him, and his game intelligence, Kobbie Mainoo, is far superior to what Garnacho's is. And for me, next season, obviously Garnacho's not going to be moved on, but there's no way he can be made first choice on that left-hand side if Man United are looking to do anything serious. He needs to be used as an impact sub when the legs are tired, you know. But yeah, he's not been great this season for me. Played about he's played 30 plus games, 30 plus starts, and his goal return is not good at all. So I think I'm going to give him a 5 as well. Yeah, hasn't been good and needs to he needs to learn the game. You know, I think someone like Garnacho would benefit of going on loan, just like what Ahmad done in the Championship. I think if Garnacho can go on loan and prove himself in the Championship, it would stand him in good stead. But there's no way he can be a first choice for Man United if Man United are looking to get back to the very top. Just like Højlund. For me, those 2 players need to be loaned out in the summer to continue their development and to see what they have. Because for me, the level that these guys are at is not Man United quality, despite what many may think. So yeah, 5 for him as well. And Anthony, for me, obviously big money signing, second season. You know, I think Anthony can produce a lot more playing in the right system. His goal return for a wide player that cost that much has been poor. His general performances at times have been okay, you know, but nowhere near the level of someone that cost that amount, which obviously isn't his fault. But yeah, he's someone that he needs to improve a lot next season. Personally, I would move him on, but again, it's going to be difficult to move him on with the price that he cost, and obviously his wage as well. So yeah, it's down to Ineos now to see what they want to do. And I'll give Anthony a 5 as well, really. So for me, Dalot 8 and Kobbie Mainoo wasn't given 8, but I think Kobbie Mainoo's got a lot more to give, with a 7 as my 2 highest player ratings. So yeah, hope you guys like the stream. As I say, don't forget to smash the like button and don't forget to subscribe to my channel at Gav Goes In. As I say, yeah, guys, throw your comments in the chat. Give your views if you feel that there's other players or players in the squad that you feel should have a higher rating or a lower rating. I welcome your views. I'm going to be back either later today or tomorrow with another stream. Hopefully, Ineos are coming closer to making that decision, which we know, let's be honest, has been made already. But we need to have it finalized now in the media to see what the plans are with the new manager. and hopefully it's Roberto De Zerbi coming in, or maybe a surprise name. I hope you guys like the stream. Smash that like button, subscribe to my channel at Gav Goes In, and I'll catch you guys either later today or tomorrow. Take it easy.